Lesson 2 begins with Chapter 3, Analytical Procedures, and concludes with Chapter 4, Audit Documentation Working Papers. Please read both chapters. The video script will give you an outline of the material contained in it. Analytic procedures are used to study the plausible relationships between financial and non-financial data. Plausible means they have certain expected ratios for the data unless there are known reasons to the contrary. This is done by comparing recorded amounts in the financial statements with expectations based on sources that include the following four: prior period financial statements, second, projections and forecasts, third, industry standards, and fourth, related non-financial data like the number of employees, sales volume, or square footage. The point is to identify reasonable explanations for unexpected results before consulting management and then comparing answers for reasonableness. Three types of analysis are discussed. These include ratio analysis, trend and fluctuation analysis, and plausible relationship analysis. Analytical procedures are used at 3 stages during the engagement. They help plan the nature, timing, and extent of substantive texts. They are a part of the tests of assertions. They assist in the overall review of the audit report. Page 19 presents a table of objectives for all 3 stages of the audit. The following page further develops various factors to consider at each stage of the analysis. Although analysis is based on expected relationships, differences uncovered do not necessarily indicate errors or fraud, but simply the need for further investigation. The chapter ends with a description of 18 useful ratios that are used to compare the current financial reports with previous reports and with similar businesses. Note that they are organized into 4 groups dealing with solvency, efficiency, profitability, and leverage. These are also a part of your basic finance course. If you have already taken such, you're familiar with these. If not, you will soon encounter them. They're very, very understandable. The questions for Chapter 3 consist of 3 pages of statements about particular applications of analytical procedures. These are there for your examination and preparation for the test. Chapter 4 introduces the topic of audit documentation. It is the record of accumulated evidence that results from audit tests and procedures. This record is used to support the auditor's report, not to support the financial statements. An important distinction here. They should contain the company name, subject matter, date prepared, and the name of the person preparing them. The contents must be indexed and cross-referenced. They should show that the accounting records agree with the financial statements. This would be the ideal. A review of the documentation is conducted to reveal inconsistencies, omissions, and loose ends. The text presents a list of factors that affect the nature and extent of documentation required. The organization of the working papers is flexible. It is kept in the form of a permanent file for each year that the audit is done. Page 29 shows a list of typical contents organized into 2 columns. One is for items that do not change from year to year, like the articles of incorporation. The second has items that need to be updated every year. Study these carefully, make sure you can distinguish them all. Work papers are the property of the auditing firm and are considered confidential. They can only be accessed by outside parties by court order. The FCAOB has developed and audited an additional set of 6 requirements not found in the auditing standards. Some of these study these carefully on pages 29 and 30. The chapter closes with a list of 10 requirements for the written documents under the GAAS. A single page of questions rounds out chapter 4. Please study carefully and do well on your test and discussion questions. See you next week.